Welcome back to Fight Talk MMA. Today we're diving into everything from heated fan reactions over UFC London to shocking news about Alex Pereira, so get ready for a loaded breakdown of the latest action and controversies. Fans were buzzing online with frustration after the recent UFC London event, where 9 of the fights went to the judges' scorecards. Many viewers felt the high ticket prices weren't justified by the lack of marquee names on the card. Some diehard supporters suggested that the frequent events and reliance on Contender Series fighters might be diluting the overall quality. Criticisms also targeted the few notable British talents who weren't on the card. Names like Tom Aspinall, Paddy Pimblett, and Arnold Allen were absent despite their popularity in the UK. On top of that, numerous fans noted that ticket costs have risen dramatically since 2016, potentially pricing out casual audiences. Still, the UFC managed to generate a record-breaking gate of over $4.7 million, leading skeptics to argue that the promotion might keep raising prices if fans continue paying. Whether the UFC will address these concerns remains to be seen. Fresh off persistent calls for a rematch with Islam Makhachev, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira believes he's the rightful next challenger for the lightweight throne. He points to his record-setting finishes and bonuses as proof of his standing in UFC history. Despite a tough defeat last time out, Oliveira insists that an off night doesn't mean he's any less deserving of another title shot. He wants to fight during International Fight Week, confident that both the champion and fans would be excited to see him try to reclaim the belt. While critics suggest there are other contenders like Ilia Topuria, Arman Tsarukyan, or Justin Gaethje waiting in line, Oliveira maintains his legacy and crowd-pleasing style put him at the top. He has also teased moving to welterweight in the future, but only after he regains lightweight gold. For now, DU Bronx remains laser-focused on dethroning Makhachev in a second clash. After vacating his featherweight championship, Ilia El Matador Topuria is adamant that he has what it takes to rule over the lightweight division. He bluntly refers to himself as the father of the entire division and suggests that others, including Charles Oliveira, should accept their roles as contenders. Some critics, such as Paddy Pimblett, argue that Topuria is ducking a rematch with Alexander Volkanovski, claiming Topuria only won because Volkanovski was recently knocked out by Islam Makhachev. However, Topuria disputes the idea that he's running from a second fight with Volkanovski, stating he's moving up for greatness, not an easier path. With Makhachev having already beaten Volkanovski twice, Topuria sees the lightweight belt as a chance to make a name for himself quickly. Whether fans believe his hype or not, Topuria has captured the spotlight, and if he does get a title shot, expect plenty of fireworks. In a recent sit-down, Charles Oliveira delved deeper into his goals.
Cara, na realidade, a gente tá falando sobre MMA, é tudo muito imprevisível. Isso aí mostra, na realidade, o quanto eu evoluí, o quanto que eu cresci, sabe, dentro da luta.
And addressed speculation around his future. He reiterated that his main focus is on regaining the lightweight belt, believing his previous performance against Islam Makhachev wasn't reflective of his true capabilities. Oliveira pointed to his long UFC tenure, over a decade in the promotion, reminding everyone of the records he holds, from most submissions to most finishes. He also dismissed the idea that a newcomer to a division should instantly get a title shot, referencing Ilia's recent push after changing weight classes. Oliveira acknowledged that fighters like Arman Tsarukyan are tough, yet he insists it's his turn to fight for gold. While teasing a future move to welterweight, DU Bronx emphasized that he's determined to solidify his legacy at 155 first. For him, it's belt or bust in the lightweight division. Former light heavyweight champion Jiri Prochazka has set his sights on Magomed Ankalaev, even if it means one more fight beforehand. The Czech powerhouse rebounded from his earlier stoppage loss to Alex Pereira with a decisive win over Jamal Hill, keeping his name relevant in the title mix. After Ankalaev's social media took jabs at Jan Blachowicz, Prochazka fired back, accusing Ankalaev of having someone else run his accounts. Despite the online spat, Prochazka recognizes that Ankalaev is likely focused on an immediate rematch with Pereira after their latest bout. If that's the case, Prochazka is more than willing to prove himself against another top contender, perhaps Carlos Ulberg, before locking horns with Ankalaev. Believing he's not far from reclaiming his 205-pound belt, Prochazka remains vocal about his desire to test Ankalaev and settle the online trash talk inside the cage. With a commanding victory over Jan Blachowicz, Carlos Ulberg has thrust himself into the top tier of the light heavyweight rankings. Known for his striking striking prowess, Olberg didn't waste time calling out big names in the division, including Jiří Procházka. He believes a showdown with Procházka could serve as a title eliminator, especially now that Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev seem headed for a rematch. Olberg expressed excitement about moving into the division's upper echelon, claiming he's ready for whoever stands between him and championship gold.
Someone who's on a 7-fight win streak, the most in the light heavyweight division so far, so very exciting, and I think everyone would be merited for a title shot after this.
Observers note that his technique and athleticism have improved significantly since his early UFC appearances. If Olberg can navigate matchups with seasoned contenders, he might be one fight away from a shot at the light heavyweight crown. Though fans debate whether his leap into stardom is premature, Olberg is adamant that he's earned his place among the best at 205. Fresh off a stint in the middleweight division, Michael Venom Page is doubling down on his challenge to Colby Covington back at welterweight. He first mentioned the matchup during a Q&A, citing a strange personal desire to land a punch square on Covington's jaw. While many question whether Covington, ranked 9th after losing 3 of his last 5, would risk it against a lower-ranked opponent like Page, the British striker argues that a flashy fight night headliner could attract plenty of attention. Page also name-dropped Kamaru Usman as a potential target, emphasizing his willingness to face any top contender. Given the UFC's crowded welterweight landscape, it's unclear if Page can lure Covington into a bout with limited ranking payoff. Regardless, Page continues to hype the matchup, maintaining that his unorthodox style would pose a unique challenge for Covington. One of the biggest eye-openers from the recent London card was Sean Brady submitting former welterweight champion Leon Edwards. Brady consistently exploited openings in Edwards' wrestling defense, eventually securing a 4th-round mounted guillotine. After the fight, Brady was blunt in assessing his opponent's mistakes, pointing out that Edwards even attempted a takedown, an odd choice against a specialist grappler. Considering Edwards lost decisively to Bilal Muhammad before, critics wonder if the former champion underestimated another wrestling-heavy fighter. Brady attributes his success to a focused game plan and believes Edwards was too busy thinking about other storylines instead of the fight at hand. For Edwards, this loss reignited questions about his future, especially with rumors swirling that he may move up to middleweight. If Brady continues his upward trajectory, he could find himself 1 or 2 wins away from a welterweight title shot. Before facing Sean Brady, Leon Edwards voiced interest in moving up to 185 pounds, citing his size and desire for new challenges. Losing in lopsided fashion this time around only fueled speculation about whether he can still compete effectively at welterweight. While some fans recall the dominant run that made Edwards champion, it seems his grappling vulnerabilities have cost him in recent matchups. Amid talk of various middleweight fights, Edwards maintains he first wants to regroup and consider his options carefully. Critics point out that the middleweight division is home to power punchers and formidable wrestlers, raising questions on whether Edwards could thrive there. Still, Edwards has handled larger opponents before and insists his skill set could translate well at 185. No official decision has been made, but the former champion's future remains one of the hottest talking points among fans eager to see if a weight class change is next. In a recent live stream during UFC 313, Joe Rogan dropped a bombshell that Alex Pereira may have competed with a broken hand.
And that is like one of the things that drains people, you know. He might have got stopped earlier if he went for a takedown, and I think that's kind of what hurt Izzy in the Pereira fight, putting those takedowns up there. It takes a lot of gas.
And a norovirus infection. Many observers had noted Pereira's uncharacteristic caution after sustaining damage early in his fight with Magomed Ankalaev, which might be explained by these reported ailments. According to Rogan, Pereira has also pushed through injuries before, including a hurt knee in the Jiří Procházka fight, showing he's willing to battle through adversity. This revelation has some fans reevaluating Pereira's performance, wondering if a healthier version could drastically alter the outcome against Ankalaev. The two combatants have already agreed to fight again, setting the stage for a high-stakes rematch. If Pereira enters the cage fully recovered, fans are anticipating a much different fight, possibly an epic showdown that will redefine the light heavyweight hierarchy in the UFC. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment on what you want to see next. We appreciate your support and can't wait to bring you more from Fight Talk MMA.